We head straight to London for more on these Olympic Games with Channel News Asia's Tim Go. Hi there, Tim. Now, we understand that even though Olympic tickets were sold out, there were still empty seats. So what happened there?
Yeah, Otelli, the London Olympic Association is now asking for a crackdown on those empty seats. Lloyd Moynihan, the chief of the British Olympic Association, wants to enforce a so-called 30-minute rule, meaning that seats that are unoccupied after 30 minutes, those ticket holders will have to forfeit their ticket or forfeit their seats, and to have those seats given away. Now, how that is going to be done, though, is another issue. Do you give them away? Do you sell them to people already at the Olympic Park? Do you upgrade people sitting way up there and bring them down? That's another issue. Because yesterday, if you pay attention, we saw many rows and sections of empty seats in popular events like beach volleyball, gymnastics, even in swimming. And there's, of course, a lot of controversy, especially because these Olympic Games have been called the People's Olympic Games, and people just couldn't get their hands on those tickets for those popular events. Even family members of those who are competing couldn't get tickets, and only to see empty seats when they watch on the big screen outside the Olympic Park. Let's listen to what this spectator had to say about this issue.
The empty seats are disappointing. We were watching on television last evening and I commented on the fact there were loads of seats that weren't filled, and when it's a shame that a lot of people like us missed out.
Well, the organizing committee issued a statement saying it will look at those seats, who should have been there, who should have been sitting on those empty seats. But it says it is also very likely that those seats were allocated for the sponsors or for different sports officials from many different countries who don't really have the physical ticket. Instead, they have accreditation like these, which means that they can go in and out of the event, which means it will be very hard to keep track of those empty seats because they have access to these venues all day. So the challenge now really is to come up with a system where you can allocate the empty seats to people who want to watch those events. The head of the London Organizing Committee, Sebastian Coe, downplayed this, saying it's still early on in the game and that only 8% of the tickets were allocated to sponsors and 75% were sold to the public. Otelli?
Now, Timo, I want to talk about protests. We've been getting some reports, of these protests. What's that all about? What are you hearing?
Well, yesterday, Otelli, about 12 hours after the end of the opening ceremonies, a few hundred people converged at an area just outside the Olympic Park to protest what they're calling the corporate Olympics. They range from various causes, from environmental causes to Occupy London protesters were there. They were protesting, again, the involvement of corporations in these Olympic Games. Those missiles put on top of some residential buildings, and as well as the ethics of some of the sponsors, namely BP and Dow Chemicals. If you recall, BP was involved in the Deep Horizon oil rig oil spill in the United States, Gulf of Mexico, about 2 years ago. They're also questioning Dow Chemicals' commitment to the environment. The group was unhappy as well about the troop deployment here in London. As we all know now, more than 18,000 soldiers are securing the Olympic Games here. The so-called Counter-Olympic Network was hoping for 5,000 participants in their protest yesterday, but sadly only a few hundred turned up. And at some point in that protest, there were more media people in the area, which I guess is what they really wanted, some media attention for their cause, Otelli.
And Tim, there's lots more action to look forward to today. What are you most excited about?
I think, Otelli, by later on today, there will be medals handed out for judo, for swimming, weightlifting, synchronized 3-meter springboard diving, women's road race finals with the focus on British riders. Of course, we know Team Great Britain hasn't won any medal gold yet here in the Olympic Games on day 3. There's also medals for fencing and archery to be given away tonight. As for Singapore's participation, well, table tennis, gymnastics, badminton, and weightlifting, and Singapore's President Tony Tan will be watching Team Singapore compete in those events. Great Britain will also play UAE in another round of football. The U.S. will play France in basketball tonight. And in tennis, Andy Murray will be playing against Stanislas Wawrinka of Switzerland, who is the flag bearer for Switzerland, Otelli.
All right, I'm going to leave you to enjoy the games, Tim. Thanks very much for all those updates. And you were just talking to Tim Goh, Channel News Asia's man in London for the Olympics.